Question everything, for the truth should not be televised. And that's for sure. So with that, it's kind of disturbing to listen to other nations that come to a country where we had to fight and put boots on ground for freedom here. Well, we don't even get free. We got emancipated, proclamated to mass incarceration, because freedom is liberation. But still, to be able to come here and get the benefits that my forefathers and ancestors actually was massacred for and genocide for you to come here and be able to take part in that and then side with the colonizers is shameful, very shameful on the part of all y'all that's doing that. And to think that we should be grateful for surviving a Holocaust, being in a country that our people had to build when it was already built when they got here because it was our country, but to be in our country and have to rebuild it in the likeness of the colonizers who invaded us, and then be declassified out of our identity, threatened, whooped, beat, burnt, tortured, and maimed out of our culture, heritage, history, and identity, and legally and by their law told that we couldn't be our own people anymore, and if caught practicing anything that they found us here doing, we can get deleted off the planet. It's just mind-boggling to think that we're supposed to be grateful for that. To hear other nations coming into the country saying stuff like that, it's just mind-boggling. Why don't you go tell that to the Wish people? Go tell that to what was going on in the realities of Germany at that time. Go tell those people that, see what they say. No, you're telling us that because you got anti-black hatred in your heart. You hate melanated people. That's why you talk like that. That's why you don't want to see us get reparations in the form of reparative justice, in the form of money and land that's owed to our people, knowing that our land was taken from us, knowing that our identity was taken from us, knowing that our culture, heritage, and reality of who we are been taken from us. We do not control our political aspect or economic aspect of life. It's dictated to us on who we should be and how we should act and what we should think. We barely even got any type of resources for ourselves, never alone any say in what goes into the school curriculum and minds and programs of the school, universities, institutions that our children are forced to actually go to, because if you homeschool, a lot of states outlaw that and it's illegal. But at the end of the day, we got to take part in a system that always had laws over our head that nullify what we really see for ourselves as a nation for ourselves. We have to bow down to a different people from us, telling us what our narrative should be about for our nation. We haven't been able to be separated from the people who invaded us that control our narrative and our reality based off of being under a government that they forced us to make the most powerfulest government in the world. And then they didn't pay us, they tortured and maimed us. And in turn left us in shacks, which now today we call ghetto slums and hoods. And because immigrants and other nations are coming from other countries, your own countries, lawfully and legally by choice, you come over here and you try to judge us for being with our oppressors. See, you leave in your country where you having problems with your own people. We didn't have problems with our own people. We had problems with the people who invaded us and made us work for them on our own land as they took all our resources and took all our identity from us. And then in turn told us that they ain't gonna give us nothing for it, as they passed down generational wealth built off the backs of us working for free. You haven't had that reality. And then we had to survive years of laws that they made against us that can get us hung, lynched, and many of the different unhumane things for years. For years. And in turn, they done figured out how to way to mass incarcerate us by keeping us impoverished, keeping us with bare minimum resources, keeping us with no opportunities to open up small businesses based off of us not having the revenue to be able to do so, thus having to come to them and everybody else to get careers and jobs that most nations don't want to hire the majority of us, keeping us in a position of poverty, literally. And to hear y'all talk the way y'all talk as if this is a benefit to us, instead of us being on our own land, under our own government, under our own way of life, under our own authority, makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. You don't know what white supremacy is like because you wasn't here to deal with it. And for you to think that us today in 2024 as Aboriginal Negroes of America is not affected by it, then you out of your mind. It was our bloodlines. It's in our households. It's in our history. It's in our DNA. It's in our reality every day for what we speak on what our forefathers and ancestors have been through, because it's our bloodline. It's a part of us. We have no choice but to acknowledge it, because some of us still carry that trauma to this day, if not all of us. And this is why we stand where we stand. It's no different from the generational wealth being passed down to the inheritors that inherited that generational wealth, that are colonizers, from enslaving and maiming, demonizing and torturing our people. It's no different. Because if they can still spend the same money today, then I'm still spending and shedding the same blood that was shed then. I'm still holding the same traumas that was traumatizing our people then. The same horrors that was horrifying our people then. I still stand in it, just like they still stand in the money that they got off of it. And for you not to understand that, I don't know where your mindset is at. I don't know where your morality is at. I don't know where your humane thoughts for humanity is at. Because at the end of the day, that's where it stands. That's what it is. You cannot push down a wrong by committing more wrong. You must bring justice to the wrong that has been done. You can't hide the lie under the rug and expect it to get better. The lie only grows higher and taller and wider and exists longer under the rug until that rug has been lifted up and that lie has been corrected by bringing truth to it and bringing justice to it. But see, when you don't see that reality, when you don't see that when a wrong is done, when a grave crime has been committed and justice hasn't been brought to it, when you don't see that that's supposed to be corrected, then there's something wrong with you. Not us, not my people. We're just enduring because we have no choice. But at the end of the day, crimes against humanity has been done to my people, and my people need justice. And we don't care if it's 600, 400, 200, or 1,000 years later. Justice must be served, regardless of how you feel about it. Because truth is truth. And the truth of the matter is, we are the survivors of a Holocaust, attached still to the inheritors of our suffering to this day, who demonize us and mass incarcerate us and keep us in ghetto slums and hoods with bare minimum resources coming from their system of what they call United States. We don't get resources from them in abundance. We don't get benefits in abundance. We don't get opportunity in abundance, but they did. That's why they on top. That's why they live in the suburbs the way they do. That's why they got the majority of the wealth in America like they do, because they took it by force, by greed, by hate. That's how they got to where they at. And in turn, this is how we got to ghettos and slums. And until that change, then there's no justice and there's no peace. And with that, I just don't get you. I just don't understand you. For that is the question. You let me know. Peace.